when it comes to these things that we think, well, maybe, you know, they really aren't part of this wonderful expanse of aware basic space that I am, or, you know, maybe we've heard these ideas from other people, then when those come up, it's very important that we have someone we can talk to those about, because they can help us understand and affirm for us that they are wholly positive, that they are wholly positive basic space and nothing else. They're not some kind of non-spiritual demon jumping up that's trying to expunge our awareness, erase it, or get in the way of it. It's awareness saying, hey, here I am in this form too. Here I am in this form too. Take a look at me here. Well, you know, anything we're trying to keep out of awareness, keep out of being spiritual, oh, this thing isn't spiritual, it's too gooey, messy, fun, or whatever it is. Anything we're trying to keep out, at some point we're going to have to face. So if we think our anger isn't the sublime expanse of awareness, if we think that our sadness isn't, or our depression, or all these different things that all human beings have, our sexual desire, our desire to have money to take care of ourselves, foods we like to eat, you know, maybe we have a very refined diet of vegetarianism, and then once in a while, when no one's looking, we'll go eat a hamburger or something like that. And we've always wondered about that hamburger. Does it really? Can I really be enlightened and still eat hamburgers? That's the question. Or, you know, whatever it is. So you see, anything that we're subtly or overtly keeping out of the picture of the vast expanse of awareness, at some point we're going to have to realize that whatever that is, it is the reality of awareness and nothing else. But, you know, we really don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything. We just need to relax. And sometimes people just come here and they'll say to me after, oh, gee, you know, I remember a man who came once, and he'd never been to a satsang before in his life. He just heard about it from his sister. And he just finished his PhD in clinical psychology at the University of California. And he came the first time, he sat in the front row, and after I talked for a while, he raised his hand, and he just started talking like the greatest being who had ever lived. You know, all of this warmth was just pouring out of his mouth, and all of these beautiful words, and it just seemed like he'd been to hundreds of satsangs. You know, that he'd been to hundreds of satsangs, past, present, and future. He'd been to them all. And in talking to him, he said, oh no, this is the first time I've been to anything like this. He said, I never knew anything like this existed, but he said, it's so familiar. It's so warm. I'll never have any doubt ever again that I am this. I just know this above all else. So you see, it doesn't have to be any one way. When we come here, we can just totally relax and allow ourselves to take over ourselves. You know, there's nothing to be afraid of. Oh yes, that's another thing to say. There's nothing to be afraid of. No matter what thought we may have, no matter what emotion, no matter what twinge or twitch in our bodies, whatever it is, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing that we have to try to hold down or hold out of the way or keep it quiet. Nothing at all. We are who we are, and everything that we are is this aware basic space and nothing else. I'll read from the text that Shoshana read so beautifully in the beginning, and I'll comment on it paragraph by paragraph. As the single expanse, supremely spacious by nature, awakened awareness equal to space is pivotal. Focus on this key point and distill it to its vital essence. It is the greatest of the great, wholly positive and spacious, awakened awareness. In its very essence, it thoroughly shatters the confines of reality based on points of view. Within this single vast expanse, there is no duality of realization versus its lack, of freedom versus its lack, but a supreme reality of equalness. So the key point is that we are awakened awareness. We are a single vast expanse of awakened awareness that has never been confined by anything. When we rest naturally, when we rest easily as that awareness, it shatters the confines of all our points of view, no matter how entrenched those points of view may have seemed to be. The points of view that we've accumulated over a lifetime, the points of view of our family, our community, our culture, and our world, the points of view of everything that we've taken ourselves to be, all of those are shattered, but not in a harsh or awful way, in a way of incredible tenderness and warmth, where we have this felt sense of who we are. And that felt sense of who we are arises in the body as the warmth, an actual physical warmth of bliss, of love, of compassion, of wisdom, of love, wisdom, bliss, and compassion that cannot be cultivated because it's inherent. We can't do anything to get it. We can only be totally at ease, and as we are, this warmth is evident in us. It's always been there. It just hasn't been recognized because focus has been on point of view. And then maybe too, we've added a few other points of view about awakening to all those points of view. And those points of view may be that there is a realization that we're going to attain sometime and that we lack it right now. So we hope that we'll attain it sometime and we fear that we won't. And we're constantly bouncing back and forth between this hope that we'll attain it and the fear that we won't. So especially when those points of view come up, to rest and be at ease, to know that what we are is already accomplished, that there is no realization or its lack, that awareness, all-inclusive awakened awareness, is timelessly, omnisciently free. And what that means is that even if we have a point of view like I'm not awake, that point of view is timelessly free. It's never known any time. It's never known any expanse of something occurring and something not. It's just already awakened awareness that has never been confined by any point of view, and especially these points of view of freedom or its lack. There neither is freedom nor its lack. There is neither someone to be realized nor someone to realize anything, nor something to be realized. There's only this expanse of evenness. The one who thinks that there's someone to be realized is just a point of view and awakened awareness. Well, when we relax and we know ourselves more as awakened awareness, inclusive of all points of view, more and more we can see that these points of view too about getting enlightened or doing practice leading to enlightenment or some kind of enlightenment to be attained in the future or someone doing something to attain enlightenment, all these are just points of view arising within our vast expanse of awakened awareness. In actuality, we've never taken ourselves to be anything because there is no one to take themselves to be anything. But how could we ever figure that out by jumping around from one point of view to another? We can't. So we rest without contrivance. The natural yoga, the yoga of natural rest that has been handed down from generation to generation for thousands of years. We rest naturally without seeking anything. And as we do so, this kiss, this bliss of our being, it's just so obvious. It's so obvious. And once we have one of those troublesome points of view come up, each one of you here, think about one of those points of view you might have that maybe you thought, if you have one, that you thought, well, that really isn't awareness, that isn't spiritual, that's a point of view I can't have and ever be enlightened. Think of one of those. think of a point of view that doesn't fit within enlightenment, and then just rest, rest and see as that point of view comes up that it arises within the expanse of your evenness. It arises within the expanse of all inclusive awakened awareness, that the idea of a you arises as that expanse, the you who has this point of view that can't get enlightened somehow, that it arises as the non-dual expanse, and then see how it just vanishes naturally of its own accord. It vanishes naturally, leaving no trace. You couldn't hold on to it even if you wanted to. Even if you wanted to hold on to that point of view of being somebody who can't get enlightened, you couldn't possibly do it. It would be impossible, because all these points of view, they're like a line drawn in water. When we draw a line in water, it appears, abides, and disappears simultaneously. There's nothing we can say about it. And all the points of view, all the dynamic energy of awareness, this luster of awareness that is point of view, it vanishes naturally in the same way. It dissolves in and of itself. It's its own undoing. There's nothing that needs to be done about it. Everything is pure space, one pure space. One pure space, just one pure space. So all these points of view, they're the luster of pure space and nothing else. If we went into pure space and we tried to separate its light out from it, well, that would be impossible. Well, so too, all these points of view, they're the luster of pure space. We can't separate them out. There's no awakening, enlightenment, liberation separate or apart from all these points of view. You see, awareness, there's no awareness separate or apart from these points of view. So awakened awareness, enlightened awareness as points of view. It's not separating out into some kind of transcended, non-conceptual state where there aren't any points of view. That's a point of view too. So, if we have that kind of wonderful non-conceptual state, it may just feel so much better than anything we've ever experienced in our life, because there's nothing going on, none of these points of view. But that's a point of view too. After all, what's aware of that non-conceptual state? So you see, we need to rest as that which is primary in every perception. Awareness, primary, is a non-conceptual state. Awareness, primary, is all conceptual states. Awareness, primary, is every single point of view without exception. Never been a point of view of any kind that exists elsewhere other than awareness. Just this wonderful totality of evenness, the totality of evenness that isn't something that we need to get. It's the reality of what we already are.